we look for someone that is very flexible, someone that they have to be open for a sense of creativity, but also a sense of continually, because obviously, like we talked about continuously, is the family farm. You know, it's all we've known is doing it this way, with minor additions along the way, with thinking about reiteration as companies get bigger and you bring more people on. But as we bring on people into the companies, what I'm constantly looking for is, I get excited the second that a new hire is seeing like why do you do this? As soon as they start asking the why, and even if like that's huge for me to understand. Okay, if they're asking the why, they're like they're moving, they're thinking, and that brings me a lot of solace in that I made the right decision in who we brought online. And honestly, because of the fact that these are teams, these are varying people from different backgrounds, different languages. They have to be patient because there is going to be a lot of language barriers along the way. So if I find someone that's creative, that's asking why questions, that like they don't have I'm not looking for 99s in science. I'm looking for practical, that okay, I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to be collaborative with you. My land said, like if you can put that into like a couple people, send them my way, please. And Steph, we can share them, absolutely. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of what I'm looking for. That's the key characteristics that I'm looking for. Yeah, because like a lot of the time, fresh grads are, and I know we're really focusing on fresh grads, we're trying to bring a lot of people in this industry, but it is that they won't know, right? Like they won't know because, I mean, a lot of the time, I mean, we're still constantly learning, and that's okay for them not to know. But if they're asking the questions, welcome aboard. You get a pretty good sense of people. I mean, we've put up multiple people in hotel rooms over the last 2-3 years as we've been expanding the greenhouse side. Putting them up in hotels for 3-4 days a week for a month, and treating that as a probationary period. Is it expensive? Yes, but unfortunately, it's a cost of business that we need to do. And it's yeah, because you look at a hotel bill for Holiday Inn, and you're like, oh boy, you know what I mean? That didn't work out. But you know, we did do that 3 times, and the 4th time we did it, we did hit a lotto ticket. Which, you know, like those people are there and the willingness is there. And I think that's like in any industry. Farming is just, you know, we feel like we want to do everything ourselves, and I keep touching back on that. But I think that's how we were selfishly at Easy Grow, personally at Easy Grow, we're able to find our most recent candidates was through that process of a probationary period, and send them up, showing our level of commitment, that we weren't wishy-washy at the beginning, right? Just being like, okay, like this role is here. And by the way, you can make this role whatever you want. This is what we need. There's also this whole mushroom part on top, this muffin on top that you can fill with other things so that you personally, as a young person, can feel fulfilled, that you're not just putting, you know, cogs in a wheel. And going through those processes, you know, also refined us as we grow. You know, is this the candidate that we want? And we were non-committed, like through a contract. They were not committed because maybe they didn't like it. Right, that's fine, and it kept everybody free and laissez-faire, and that was a program that we've done for the last couple of years that seemingly has worked for us.
Now I know where all of our best candidates have gone over to Dusty, because apparently we're looking for the exact same things, and I cannot stress communication and curiosity enough. Like as he was sharing, it's really about finding someone who has that curiosity and a willingness to communicate when maybe they don't understand the instructions, or aren't as sure. And I know it was mentioned earlier that the family dynamics on the farm are absolutely a factor. You know, our culture in our business is uniquely Slaman. And we're not going to be able to change that. And I firmly believe we don't need to, because it does lead to lots of positives, but there are challenges with that too. So we just need to be, as the management team, really aware of that and really intentional. And that starts from, our first opportunity to speak with a candidate. We have had some walk-ins just saying, are you hiring? We've had response to, advertised positions, and we need to be really upfront and clear and communicative on our part too. What are the expectations? What's the probationary period look like? How do I, as a potential candidate, be successful? And have I been communicated as to what those steps are going to be? And what if I miss the mark? Is there a chance to try again or to do better? And what are the expectations on both sides about how we're going to manage that? Because every relationship is an evolving one. And it's something that, we going back to those communication skills is really important. And I want to nuance that with, it's not necessarily language. Right? So you can be a clear communicator over those language barriers. It takes a little more time. It takes a lot of patience, as was mentioned, but it's important because we do have that diversity of backgrounds in our farms and in our employment. And we're open to taking on those challenges, and we want to, because we have seen the individuals that have joined our company are incredible individuals that we're very happy to have working with us. But I'm going to speak a little more onto the technical side of things. It's, as with any industry, a little bit of experience in the industry is always helpful. Speaking to some of our academic partners that are on the call today, the students are coming very well trained, and they do have a breadth of exposure to working with those, sensitive live products that have, different challenges than if you're, working in a project management role or an administrative role. That's going to be important. And that's a different approach that you take to your job too. So having that technical understanding of, it leads to your approach and the attitude you come to work with, because as much as the ownership does, that being there each day while the plants are growing, because they don't stop for Saturdays, is not something that we need to reiterate to you. You come ready and engaged and wanting to be part of our sector, already having that foundation there. That transition from your academic training into an on-site opportunity is really important. So, the faster, especially when individuals are coming without that agriculture background or history, they might have misconceptions about what it means. And if we can help them learn that we're even more exciting than all of their perceptions might be, I think that's going to be a win for our industry. And I think it comes, as much as we're all wearing lots of different hats as owner operators, we do have to be maintaining that awareness about what we have to offer. And what we have to offer is some really exciting, dynamic, fast-paced careers. And, if we can communicate that accurately, I think we are going to continue to be appealing to a lot of students. And then hopefully we can have the right mix of benefits and salary and lifestyle balance that can help them stay within the industry.
So soft skills, as far as, you can't teach work ethic. It's either there or it's not. We make demands, and marks follow. So those that want to come and want to participate, we work a lot in teams because we've got so many students. We put them into teams, and they're in a team for 14 weeks. And yesterday when we started, I said, you will have altercations. You have to start to learn to communicate, and in many different ways, because some people need it in a text, some people need it straight face to face, and some people need it both or something alternative. So we try really, really hard, and they hate it. They hate working in groups, but we always say, this is your work world. you know, if we say during this 14 weeks, you have to be the leader of the team twice. You have to delegate, and you have to be the bad guy when somebody didn't do what they were supposed to do. You have to make them accountable. So we are trying, I always have. I'm a mom. And I just truly believe that it's really important for them to get through and over the anxiety of having to be the boss and to be accountable. A big part of our job in post-secondary is to help them grow up. and so, we have expectations, and we try and keep that in place so that they are accountable to us. And some of them get there and some of them just don't. Some people have the expectation that they've taken 2 years of education, they should be ready to run and be able to do anything. And that's not the case, because we teach them the breadth on a lot of things. And, the depth is, it kind of ladders from year 1 to year 2, but the changes that were imposed upon us 7 years ago really, really gutted our program as far as depth.
So it's a fine balance, because we want to make sure that what we're providing in the program is the technical skills that employers expect, knowing that students have come out with a diploma or a degree. But we do know, especially from people on our external advisory committees, that the soft skills are just as important. And what we do see is that with a lot of students who are going through programs now, they've never worked prior to their first horticulture job. So the soft skills, may be lacking. They simply don't have the experience. So we try to incorporate that in a lot of the way that we teach. Things like getting students to work together in groups, get them to take a scenario and be able to problem solve, teach them things like supervisory skills, and, a lot of kind of scenario-based situations that they may encounter in the workplace that helps them to become more proficient in some of those soft skills, but also to feel confident in, practicing them in a place that they know that they're still learning, and they feel safe with, it's okay to make a mistake.